Yeah. Just wanted to go over my trades for today and for yesterday as well, Monday, because I didn't go over it on Monday. Yeah. So coming into the week, there was a large gap down, primarily due to tariff announcement deadlines on Wednesday, and the Japanese market was down over 4% at one point on Sunday night. Yeah. So initially, I wasn't really expecting to take a trade on Monday because, well, first of all, the tariff announcement deadlines coming up later in the week and NFP data on Friday as well. So, in anticipation of all the news later on in the week, I was expecting Monday to be very choppy. So, I wasn't really interested in taking any trades. The only reason why I did was because there was a um, quick and easy trade that I identified because of the huge gap down that occurred. Yeah, but first I'm gonna go over the trades that I took today on Tuesday while it's still fresh in my mind. Yeah, so just looking at this chart, price moved lower, rallied back into the 21 SMA, got rejected, made new lows, and now it's trying to recover. Um, so coming into the day, obviously this candle is already formed as right now it's 4:30. But coming into the day, the uh the easiest draw that I saw was just PDH. So PDH, previous daily high of the previous candle, and some internal liquidity in this daily civvy. Yeah. So let's go into the lower time frames and put on my right. So this is how it looked coming into the day. Yeah, kind of like this. So you can see that this was yesterday's move. The overnight session, Asia lows, Asia highs, London lows, London highs. So after the London session, um, price took out London highs and PDH and reversed and made a breaker block. Um, yeah, so coming into the New York Open, that was what I was looking for, because, well, it took internal and external buy side liquidity, which is London highs and previous daily highs. So I was expecting just a rotation lower, taking these internal lows and maybe Asia lows as well. Um, and yeah, so I had a bearish bias. I wanted to see this 15-minute breaker block get retested because this setup it just looked so clean. Especially since if this were to play out, then the high would have been made um, after the London session, which would have um, kind of aligned with kind of like a Judas swing setup. And also the fib retracement, this breaker block was in premium, so I knew that if price were to get there, it was a high likelihood that it would get rejected there. And if it were to just completely run through it, then we're definitely going high. Yeah. So let me put on my trade executions and we can go over. So today I kind of traded today mainly on the 1,000 tick chart, because the 1 minute chart was very choppy. It wasn't showing any fair value gaps, so I had to go down lower. Right. Yeah, so this was 8:30 open. I saw that price took these internal highs and reversed lower. So I just took a very quick move back into this civvy, and I was targeting Asia lows, right? Um, but I was trailing my stops very closely because I knew that this price, well, first of all, it's only the first 3 minutes of the day, so price could definitely come down, but definitely just reverse higher and take out more highs before the actual reversal. And so right here, once it took these internal lows, I started trailing my stops very tightly, moving it to just above break even, and I ended up getting stopped out for I think it was minus 25. So a point. and a quarter stop loss for this one. Um, I'm totally fine with that. Because as I said, like I was definitely expecting price to just take out some more highs first before going towards the Asia lows, and especially after it failed to make a new low here, right? And so, however, at this point, there was a period of kind of indecision on my part. So at this point, right here, I thought price rejected. So it got above the nine, but I thought it was gonna reject and continue lower. So I added back. I added back to this position, and I ended up getting stopped out. Yeah. So this trade could have. Oh, well, looking back on it in hindsight, I definitely think I could have waited for more confirmation before taking the trade. Because well, if it did reject this nine, this candle would have closed bearish, and then I would have more confirmation. And also, I would feel more confident in putting my stop above this high because in order to take this trade, I had to put my stop above these highs, which made the trade a lot worse in terms of risk reward. And I actually took a full stop out for this trade. It ended up being 625, so a little over what is it? 30 points? Yeah, a little over 30 points. 31 points. Yeah. And so the second trade, or the third trade was this trade right here. It was just a long. So right after I saw that price took these internal lows, failed to make a new low, and it reached into this SIBI, failed to move lower. So right after it made this new high here, in my opinion, I thought, the easiest draw on liquidity as of this point was just taking out these internal highs because price took out these internal lows, um, failed to move lower. So I thought it's very simply going to make a new high. And so I took the long here, just targeting a break of these new highs and kind of a flush. The risk reward on this trade honestly wasn't the best, but since it was such a high probability trade, that's how I justified taking a little bit of a worse RR trade. In hindsight, I would rate this trade like a 5.5 out of 10, because in the times that it doesn't work, um, it can be very annoying and tilting because when you take this trade, like you can try to justify it and say you're putting your stops tight here, but then price can just easily, make a turtle soup and then continue higher, and then you'd be really annoyed. So your real stop loss should be around either this low or this low, and that is just you would have to target a much higher target, and so not really, not really the ideal situation I'd want to be putting myself in over a long period, over the long term. So maybe I don't think I should take this trade in the long term. Yeah. And so, oh my God, where'd my executions go? Right, that was a little weird. Um, yeah, that was a little weird. I think the chart is refreshing because it's going to reset at 5 p.m. because that's when the market opens. And so yeah, let's try to hurry this up. So yeah, I got out here, and so once price um, tapped into this 15-minute breaker block in the premium, um, I was looking for any chance to short. What is going on with my chart? Man, that's really weird. Yeah, anyways, no idea what's going on with my chart. Yeah. So once price tapped into this breaker block, I was just looking for a very aggressive entry, um, targeting the Asia lows. So yeah, so as soon as it broke the 5 MA and the 9, because as of this point right here, you can see the price swing was very aggressively up, and so I just wanted to see any break of momentum to enter for a short. Um, Price broke the 9 MA and the 5 MA here, so that's when I entered. And at this point, um, when it was I was in drawdown, I was honestly like fine with taking the stop out because this for this aggressive trade, you could just put your stops here or here, which wasn't that much in terms of my usual stop outs, which was 35 points. This was like I think it was around a 25-point stop, which I'm totally comfortable taking. Um, yeah. Yeah. But price actually reversed here and continued lower. Um, and so after at this point, price took London lows and had a very sharp retracement higher. So I thought, okay, at this point, like I'm totally fine with just, you know, getting stopped out for like break even because price already went took out London lows. It didn't take out these internal lows. And so at this point, when it reversed above the 21 SMA, I was, getting myself comfortable for the fact that I may be very well stopped out of break even after catching all this move, this crazy move. I think it was around 80 points or 70, 80 points lower. Yeah, so I was totally comfortable with, all right, I'm just gonna totally fine with just taking it off. Um, yeah, but that's not what happened. Price reversed lower, and so this was kind of the point where I was very uh, scared because after price reversed and broke the 9 and the 5 and the 21, I added 3, tripled my position sizing, and so I was like at this point when price reversed above the moving averages, I was very uncomfortable because now if I got stopped because so once I added, I moved my stop lower, and so I was if I were to get stopped out, I would have taken a loss, which would have been very annoying. Um, yeah, so I was kind of scared here, if I'm being honest, and that's why I really wanted to make this video because just want, if you're looking at it nominally, just like the results, $4,000, yeah, it's cool, but there was a point where I could have had like a very red day if I took this stop out. So next time, definitely going to try to add more slowly and not all at once. Maybe adding, one, two contracts when there was more confirmation here, rather than adding three, which is definitely very uncomfortable. Yeah. And so when price reversed lower, finally took out these internal lows, it didn't even take these lows. And so that made me very uncomfortable because at this point I was up around $2,000. And so like I really just wanted to take it, honestly. And so once price rejected off of the 9 and failed to make a new low, when it broke above the 9 again, I just took off two, took off half, locked in some equity, and I was just totally fine with that. Yeah. Um, and so price moved higher, um, didn't quite reach the 21, and then it made a new low and finally took out these lows. And so at this point, I was totally comfortable with just taking everything off. Um, it my final target was Asia lows. I wanted to try to hold one down to Asia lows, but like when I was in the trade itself, it was very hard because these swings up were like 30-point swings up and they were super uncomfortable to hold through because like when you're up so much, like you honestly just want to take the profit, especially when you're so close to your final profit target. And so I was trying as hard as I could to hold it, but I ended up just taking the rest of it off after I made the new lows here. Looking back on it in hindsight, what I should have done was just let it trail these moving averages to final target. At least just one. It doesn't have to be two, maybe just one. So that's definitely going to be um, a point of improvement for the future, but nominally, it was a very hard trade to hold with all these gyrations. But, a thing that I should keep in mind for the future is that at this point here, price is still within a range. So it hasn't broken out of the range yet. So, like, I should be mindful, maybe not comfortable, but at least mindful that I should be expecting these gyrations because price hasn't really broken out of any territories yet. So gyrations within the range is totally normal, and I should try to be comfortable with that, or at least knowledgeable. And so, yeah, that's definitely a improvement point for the next time. Yeah, and so price ended up reversing higher for the rest of the day, but I don't care about that. I got my piece of the meat here, and I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, and so now we can go into Monday's trade. Um, this was Monday's trade here. It was taken on the 1 minute chart. I don't have my levels for Monday because I delete them every day, but basically, Monday had a gap down. It took out this daily sell side liquidity, which is very major in my opinion. Um, yeah, it was very major sell side liquidity. On top of already having a massive gap down and trending lower. Um, so my first trade basically was just a bearish continuation. It broke all the pre-market lows here, and it broke this sell side liquidity. Um, and then at the 9 MA, I was looking for a rejection. If it rejected, it would have been a breakout retest. Just a quick and easy setup down to the lows. Um, and I like this trade because it's such a nice risk reward because you could literally keep your stops so tight. Like right above this candle, right above the 9 MA, that's how you know you're wrong. At least like it'll if it breaks above here, at the very least, it can go to the 21, and you don't want to take that. So you could just put your stop here, and if it were to reverse later on, that's in a whole nother trade. But yeah, so a very tight stop here with a target just at these lows, and most of the time, these trades tend to flush lower. So like this, in terms of risk reward, is very attractive to me, and so that's why I took it. Um, but at the same time, in my head, I was thinking, okay, it's a Monday, no news, NFP later on, tariff announcements. So like any signs of rejection or like non-committal moves, I'm just gonna take like what I can get. So right here, when it failed to make the new low and reversed higher, I was showing my stops very tightly, and I ended up getting stopped out for a small profit. And I entered back again when it reversed because it didn't actually stage a reversal. So I entered back in reverse, and I was watching this 1900 level, 19,000 level, and so I entered and I exited off of the 1990s. Yeah, so then 1892 was my exit. So the 1990s was where I was trying to target. It's kind of a quick trade. This second trade wasn't really the best in terms of risk reward compared to the first. But honestly, I took the trade because I got stopped out at break even for the first trade when I really shouldn't have been trading it that tight because if I just let it trail the 9 and the 5, I would have been fine. But that's hindsight. Definitely a point of improvement later on because this type of trade will definitely get me in trouble if I take it for multiple times in the future. Yeah, and so the second trade was after this 1900 break, 19,000 break, there wasn't really any continuation, um, especially if you put up the volume. Like volume here climaxed at this point, and it didn't really have any continuation afterwards. It subsided, and then once it reversed, let me take this off. Once it reversed and got above the 9 and retested the 9, I just entered for a quick long. I was just targeting the internal highs. And so the rationale here is that, okay, it's a no news Monday, um, NFP later on, and pension fund rebalancing, gonna buy stocks, rotating out of bonds. And so I don't know how much significance that has on the trade idea, but basically I was just expecting no moves to be truly committal. So this move here, everyone that was entering short, I was expecting them to just get ran through and reversed. So that's why I took this very quick trade. And yeah, that was my rationale for the trade. It ended up working out, but it ended up working out a lot better than I expected. But that's not my trade. I got what I got, and yeah, rating these trades, um, I would say they're like a 6 out of 10. Not the best trades in terms of risk reward, probability. Don't really want to be taking these trades a lot in the future. Kind of want to be sticking to the trades that I'm taking today, when it's much more higher probability with the 15-minute breaker blocks. Um, and yeah, that's it.